Hello, universe. I'm here. It's Josh Wasabi, and it's time to talk about the tragedy of Stella Rose. So as you hopefully saw in the intro video, we're going to be doing some Fallout 4. This video is an odd log style thing to explain the rules of this Let's Play. So I'm going to semi-roleplay this. The intention of this is to show a more accurate form of a commonly portrayed mental illness, which is dissociative identity disorder, which is commonly and incorrectly called multiple personalities. So, DID, dissociative identity disorder, is caused usually by repeated exposure to trauma, and this is most often in childhood. So as the trauma continues, the person as they are cannot handle it, so they dissociate, they pull back from it and zone out, but they have to do something and act and be involved in some way. And so they develop a personality that deals with that trauma. So often that alternate personality, as it were, is there to protect the original personality from the trauma. So it's not just some random formed thing. It has a purpose. The other personality has a purpose. So in the tragedy of Stella Rose, we have Stella, who developed DID as a child, and the cause of that and all of that, we might delve into during the LP. We might get into some more of that, but just know that she had it. Her alternate identity then was Rose. Through therapy and hard work, Stella no longer dissociates as an adult. She was a very healthy person. However, if you pay attention in the vanilla start of Fallout 4, you will notice that within a time span, according to the individual you're playing, of 10 minutes, Stella is subjected to repeated and severe trauma in that time. So you have this perfect life, and then everything goes away. The bombs start dropping, you got to bail. So everything in the house, everything you worked on, gone. Grab your husband, grab your kid, run. And then you come to a place where you're like, okay, we survived. All those people died. I'm in shock. The whole world's going to hell. I'm in shock. But we're going to start a new thing here. We're going to be here. We're going to be okay. I'm going to be able to go hold my husband and my kid, and we're going to be all right. You climb in the decontamination chamber, and that doesn't happen. You freeze. And as that happens, I'm imagining most people are going to be like, this feels wrong. And that's the state you're frozen in. Shock, angst, the world's gone. You're confused. You don't know what's happening. And of course, with this game, you wake up completely immobile, and you're forced to watch your husband get shot in the head and your baby taken away. That's a whole hell of a lot of trauma to endure for her in a 10-minute period. So, of course, she goes back to sleep, or she freezes again or whatever, and then she comes back, and then we're there with Nate, who's dead, and she takes the ring. So that is the moment that Rose takes over. Stella dissociates because she can't handle all of this, and Rose takes over. But the important thing to remember, Rose as a personality is still a child, a teenager perhaps, but still young, and very much thinking in black and white. Motivation still to protect Stella. Now also some vengeance for Nate's murder. So Rose's intention is to protect Stella and to get vengeance for Nate's murder. But she's also very unpredictable. She's very childlike. Black and white decisions, not really focused on anything. So to emulate that behavior, I'm not simply going to be saying, oh, well, I think Rose would do this. What we're going to do is use dice rolls. I'm going to be using a really cool iOS app called Dice Ex Machina by Toby Coolstock, who gave me permission to put it in the video. There will be a link in the description for that app. Definitely check it out. Every video should have that description. But we're going to be using this dice app real time. I intend to have it on screen, so you'll see when I do the dice roll and what it does. So this video, while explaining the story of Stella Rose, is also to talk about all of the complicated crap that I got going on for dice rolls, so you have an idea. I'm also going to, hopefully in some legible manner, have all of these rules listed in the description as well. So here we go. First thing to say is that when I created the character, which I did in order to film the thing and make the intro video, I did use dice rolls to assign the special assignments for the attributes and whatnot. So I just rolled a a 1d8, and if I hit an 8, which only happened once, I got to pick where I put it, but everything else just assigned 1 through 7, S through L kind of thing. So that was what I did for character creation. We'll be using that kind of thing again here in a moment, but let's talk about the dice rolls. There will be a primary dice roll, which I will call the Rationality Roll. This will happen before every major decision, and pretty much any decision we use dice for. So a Rationality Roll will be a 1d20 plus a 1d level of the character. So at level 1, it's always a +1. Level 2, it's a 1d2, or like flipping a coin. 3, it's a 1d3, up to level 10 is a 1d10 added onto the 1d20. Okay, the number rolled, if it is higher than the character level, Rose will make the decision. If it is equal to or less than the character level, then Stella makes the decision, which means it's going to be a more rational decision, which means I'm going to make the decision. Okay, what that means is at level 1, it's a 1d20 plus 1. The lowest on 1d20 is 1, plus 1 is 2. It will always be higher than 1. So at level 1, there's no reason to even do a Rationality Roll if Rose is making all the decisions. At level 2, it's a 1d20 plus a 1d2. So you can roll a 1 on a 1d20 and get a 1 on the coin toss, and you get a 2, which is your level, and then Stella can make that choice. But there's only one way to get that. And as you get higher, you'll notice that at level 10, it's a 1d20 and a 1d10. And all you got to do is hit a 10 or lower, so it's like a 30% chance. So as she levels up, Stella's going to be making more decisions, and we're not going to be so random and ridiculous. And that's just the Rationality Roll, which is helpful because of what happens next. So let's talk about leveling up. If we win the Rationality Roll and Stella makes the decisions, then I just put the perk point wherever I think it should go. And of course, I'm going to try to roleplay a little bit of Stella there. But the point of these rules is to say that when we fail the Rationality Roll, because we damn well will, for leveling up, Rose is going to make that choice, and it's going to be dice rolls to make it. So a 1d8 will be rolled. If it's a 1 through 7, it's an S through L. That's the column we're going to look at. And then we roll a 1d8 if the number of perks available is 6 or less. So I had to pick an arbitrary number here, and it just works for 1d8. Once a perk gets to 7, Rose has this awakening of, holy crap, there's so much more I can do. She's still not making great decisions, and she's still rolling dice, as it were, to do these. But she realizes there's more to do. Before that, she's only focused in those initial areas, the first 6 perks, because we roll a 1d8, and let's say we roll a 1, so it's under strength. So we're going to place the perk point in one of these. We roll another 1d8, so let's say there's only 6 perks open. We roll a 1d8. If we roll a 1, then we plug it into the attribute, into strength. If we roll a 2 through 7, we put it into the perk. So 2 would be the first perk, 7 would be the 6th perk. So we just count down, including the attribute 1 through 7. If we roll an 8, then it's my choice. I get to pick of the 6 perks or the attribute itself, what I want to plug into. Now, here's another thing. If, let's say, we roll a 7, but the 6th perk is not unlocked because strength is not yet there, here's what happens. At that point, if the perk is unavailable, we roll a 1d20. If it's an even number, then Rose acts evenly with her disposition as a child who's wacky, and the perk point is not spent that level. So we don't spend it. We don't get to use it, and we wait to next level, and that's when we roll dice for multiple perk points. If it's odd, then we invest it in the attribute. She has an odd moment where she realizes that in order to get to that perk she wants, because she went, I want that, I want to do that, but you can't. She realized that in order to get there, she has to increase strength or whatever attribute it is, so she'd plug it into that. Okay, now, when she reaches 7 in any of the attributes, that opens up more perks. At that point, whenever we go to level up, and we fail the Rationality Roll, so Rose is going to make the decision. We roll a 1d8, and it lands a 1 through 7, and we get the special. Then we roll a 1d20. So even if only 7 perks are unlocked, we roll a 1d20, and we do the same rules as before. 1 is the attribute, 2, through the number of perks unlocked, was that perk. If the perk is unavailable when we roll it there, then we do a 1d20. We get an even, we don't spend it that level. We get an odd, we invest it in the attribute. If the dice number is greater than the number of attributes available, then it's my choice and I get to pick again. So there are a few ways, very rare, for Rose to suddenly make a really good choice, because she can do that from time to time. It'll happen randomly. So hope that made some kind of sense. I will be listing this down below, so check that out if you're not familiar with these kinds of things. Just roll with it and maybe you'll understand what's happening as I'm playing the episodes. Okay, so that's leveling up. Now, the next thing that we're going to be rolling dice for is the acceptance or rejection of side quests, companions, and then other choices, because I'm not sure, again, I haven't played this game very much, I have no idea what else they're going to throw at me, but this will be generally how we handle any kind of thing that comes up that we have to choose a yes or no. So quest choice. So whenever I notice that there's a potential for a side quest to happen, or someone requests it and whatnot, we do a rationality roll. If Stella wins, then I get to decide, okay, would Stella want to do this? Would this benefit her in some way that could potentially lead to finding Sean? Because that's going to be Stella's primary motivation, is finding Sean, whereas Rose's primary motivation, for at least quest-wise, is vengeance for Nate while protecting Stella. And of course, Stella's going to try to protect herself. Anyway, if we fail the rationality roll and Rose makes the choice, it's going to be 50-50 here. We roll a 1d20. An even number means she acts according to her desire to protect Stella and get vengeance for Nate, and she doesn't have time to help you side quest people do whatever the hell. I'm not going to go find your vegetables or shoot that bandit. I don't have time for that. I got to go protect Stella and get vengeance for Nate, so she doesn't help. If it's an odd number, then she's like, okay, fine, I'll help you, and she decides to do that quest. At the point that Rose accepts a side quest, or any quest, that is what she'll focus on until completion or failing, if that's possible here. Or a couple of the factors can cause that to happen. Of course, if I keep dying and I'm like, this is not possible, then she'll become overwhelmed and will do a thing that's different. Okay. But upon completion, upon failing, and a couple other things, if we have to choose a new quest, we roll a rationality roll. If we win it and Stella gets it, we pick the quest that leads to Sean. That's going to be the main quest as far as I understand. If we fail the rationality roll, then what Rose is going to do is pick the smallest die that's bigger than the number of quests available. So I'll go to my journal or whatever it is and see how many quests I have available that I can make active, find the smallest die that's bigger than that, and then we pick it from top to bottom. Just, I believe it's listed top to bottom, 1, 2, 3, all the way down till the last one. And then if the number rolled is greater than the number of quests, Rose becomes overwhelmed. And here's what she does. We roll a 1d20. If we roll even, she says, I'm focusing on Nate's murder. I'm getting vengeance for Nate. She goes back to the main quest. I'm pretty sure the main quest is going to align for both of them in that regard, at least to some point. I don't know if it splits. That'd be really cool if it does. I have no spoilers. I don't know how this game ends, how far it goes, what happens. Anyway, if she rolls odd, then she refuses to do any quests. She's just overwhelmed. She's like, I'm not doing anything or anybody. And she wanders. So then we just go and explore and loot stuff or whatever. Things like that. Okay. Any other choice that has to be done, it's going to be the same kind of idea as that. Generally, I'm going to try to use black and white thinking. So if we win the rationality roll, Stella will make the decision and we'll try to make the best decision for the character. But if we fail the rationality roll, then Rose is going to make it, and we're essentially going to come down to a black and white choice of do it or don't do it, like all in or not at all. Roll a 1d20, even will be protecting Stella, getting vengeance for Nate, whatever decision meshes best with that, and odd will be whatever doesn't work with that. It doesn't seem to make sense for that. And of course, I will try and be very, very diligent about trying to decide before I make the roll of which choice will be even and which one will be odd, so that I don't roll odd or even and then justify it after the fact, because then I can choose whatever I want. And I don't want to do that. I want this to be seemingly random. I want it to be all over the place. So I'm going to decide, like this means odd and this is even, this choice and that choice, and then hit the die and see what happens. Okay. If the choice is not as simple as that, and again, I'm not sure what the choices are going to be in this game, but if it comes up where there's a choice, it's 3 different choices, and there's not a black and white, there's not a, I'm going to help you or I'm not going to help you, but it's like 3 distinctly different options, then we'll roll the smallest die bigger than the number of choices and choose top to bottom. If the number we roll is larger than the number of choices available, Rose is overwhelmed. We roll a 1d20 at that point. If it's odd, then she picks the last choice available. If it's even, she refuses to even choose and walks away from everything, if that's possible. If she can't walk away, then we just automatically pick the last choice available. And just that's moving top to bottom, assuming things are read, as it were, or spoken from top to bottom. Like, what is the last choice said? That's when she's going to latch onto, because she's thinking like a child. She's just going to grab the last thing that was said. If this decision-making causes her to walk away from a side quest, then we deactivate it in the journal menu and we abandon the side quest. So even if the choice to be made is the reward, so they say, which one do you want, the A, B, or C? And she gets overwhelmed and can't choose and walks away, we abandon that side quest and we do not get that reward. Hopefully it doesn't break anything with the main quest. If it does, we'll figure out how to do it, because if she gets pressured into making a decision, like she can't walk away, then she has to choose the last thing. If it's the main quest that we're working on and a choice comes up and she walks away from that somehow, obviously we don't deactivate that. We keep that there because she's going to come back to it. We just have to abandon it and we roll for a new quest. Walking away from a side quest as well, we also do the roll for a new quest choice. So that's another way that we could move on to a new quest and use this choice making to figure that out. Now, let's talk about companions. Yeah, companions. So companions are really important. They're just like side quests, though. What we're going to do is, if we're offered the choice of having a companion, we roll a rationality roll. If we win, we get to decide based on the character what we're going to do. If we fail that, and there's no current companion, we roll a 1d20. If it's even, she doesn't have time for other people. She's focused on one thing. She rejects the offer. If it's odd, she's like, fine, you can come help me out. So if Stella Rose has a current companion, and she's offered a different companion, then we do a rationality roll. If we win, of course, we decide which companion is probably going to be better, and we pick that one. If we fail it, then we do a 1d20 again. If it's an odd number, we accept the offer as the same as the other, and we swap out companions. Here's where it gets different. If it's even, then you reject that offer. You don't have time for people. You're focused on your thing, and then you realize, holy crap, I already have someone with me. Why do I even have them with me? And you have to re-roll to keep that companion. So we roll another 1d20. If it's even, we reject our current companion. If it's odd, then we keep them. Now, I thought about equipment, looting, things such as that. And of course it wouldn't make any kind of sense to have all this kind of randomness, but she'd go through and she'll loot everything and all that. So I'm going to try, that's where I'm going to be doing most of the role playing. So when we first start out in there, if I find a thing where there are caps, she doesn't know what bottle caps are or that they're valuable. She's not going to know they're valuable until we come across a circumstance in which shows her that it's valuable before she'll even try to pick it up and collect it. Same thing for ammo. Why is she going to pick up ammo? There's no point in that. She will learn about weapons and defending herself. She wants to protect Stella, so she's going to use what's available and protect her for that. So we will pick up weapons. But what's going to happen initially is she will only have one weapon. And so whenever we find another weapon, we're going to look at it. So I think you can pull up the 3D model and look at it. I'm going to try to ignore the stats. We're going to look at it. And if I think that Rose, as a child, I'm going to look at it through a child's eye. If that weapon looks cooler, more badass, more damaging than the one she currently has in her hand, she drops the one she has and she takes the new weapon. At some point, we'll sort of evolve it if we can to where she realizes, okay, I can hold multiple of these. This ammo, it's all over the place. It could benefit me if I have it. For these other weapons, that kind of thing. So eventually we'll get to that point. She'll start looting a little more. But at the very beginning, we're not going to go looking for loot. Because it's not me as a player going, oh, I bet there's stuff there that could help this character out. She doesn't know that. She's a child. She's not trying to get anything. She's just moving through it. So it doesn't make sense for her to just go loot everything in sight. She's not going to do that at all. The only time we're going to be looting at the very, very beginning is if we're out of something. So let's say, I know in the vault you pick up the 10mm pistol. I think that's part of the thing. I think you have to do that. She knows what a gun is, and she's like, that's going to be more effective than this wand thing I have in my hand. So she picks that up. If we run out of ammo for that, she's going to go, crap, I need ammo. She's going to go looking for ammo. So she's going to go looting for ammo. And when she finds some ammo, then she's done. She moves on. During that time, if she's discovered that caps are valuable and she finds ammo and caps, she's like, hey, look, caps. The only thing that she will immediately take if she happens across a container will be medical stuff, I think, but like stim packs and food, because those would be kind of obvious. Maybe not the stim packs, because that's a weird little needle thing. She might be afraid of that. Oh God, am I going to make a character who can't use stim packs? I hope not. No. Her job is to protect Stella. She'll do all kinds of crazy shit to protect Stella, so she'll do a stim pack, but she'll have to learn kind of what it is. So we're going to play that, and I don't know what kind of challenges that's going to present, because I don't know. I have no idea, honestly, how this game's going to play out and how difficult it might be by saying, no, she's not going to use that because she doesn't understand it's valuable. We'll see what happens. I am a little concerned, obviously, that I'm going to find like a gun, and this counts for like armor and stuff you wear as well, that I want it to be based on like appearance. However, if I come across an item that I see as a player. I happen to see the stats, or I just know that's so much better than what we have. But I look at it and I go, nope, she would reject that. Or I'm not sure if she would reject it. Or I feel like I'm compromised. I feel like I'm biased and I can't make that decision. Then I will do a rationality roll. If we win that rationality roll, Stella gets to make that choice, and she'll probably keep the thing that's better. If she fails it, then Rose is like, that's crap, and throw it away. That's going to be hard. That's going to be hard for me to do something like that. But it's going to be fun, I think. Now, here's a big thing, I think, that I'm going to do. Every time I start a new episode, every time I load up the game, we have to make some choices. We have to first do a rationality roll to see who's going to make those choices. Is Stella in charge, or is Rose going to be making the decision? So we have to decide quest. Just the randomness of that timing is going to sort of point out how Rose is making crazy decisions. She just got a question. She's heading off to do it. And then she's like, you know what? The wind blew a different direction. I'm going to do something else. Which is what she would do. So we're going to roll for a quest decision. And then if we have any companions, we have to roll to keep companions. Just like we would roll to take on a new companion and whatnot. So 1d20. If it's even, she's like, I don't even need you anymore. Bye. Or odd, she'll keep the companion. So, and I plan to make hour-long episodes. So I'm going to play for about an hour. I don't intend to cut much of anything out if I just picked up a companion. And then we start up the next episode, and she rolls to say, you know what, I changed my mind, goodbye. Then that's gone. It's over. It's terrifying, and it sounds really complicated. I think I have it all kind of together in my brain so that I feel like I'm going to be able to do this without losing it and like pausing in the game and waiting 5 minutes to figure out what the hell I was going to do. I think I have it all kind of streamlined so I know what's happening. It is all, of course, everything I just talked about is all subject to change. I want it to work and be enjoyable and be kind of realistic and not be too beneficial but not too restricting as well. So I'm trying to find a balance there. I've never seen this done. I've never done this before, so I'm just trying something here. So it might evolve as I'm playing through it, and we'll see. I mean, I might get to level 7 and I'm rolling Stella all the time and it's just like I'm playing the game, so I might make it a little harder. The next trauma she encounters, Rose takes over completely and we go back to some kind of rule that makes it hard for Stella to come back. I don't know. We will see what happens. So this video is to talk to you about that, and I've done that. Now, if you have any questions, if you have any concerns, if you have any advice, if you have any feedback at all, let me know in this video. Put it down there in the comments, and of course in any of the videos coming for this Let's Play. I hope I didn't bore everybody, but thank you so much for listening / watching and being here. I hope to see you in the Let's Play, and let me know how it goes. Until then, goodbye, universe.